There are moments in life when everything seems to align, not by force, not by coincidence, but by something deeper, something sacred. You meet someone, and it feels as if your soul already knows them. The timing may be strange. The circumstances might seem impossible, but deep inside there's a quiet certainty that this connection is not random. It's chosen, not by you, not by them, but by something greater. When life brings two paths together through invisible threads, it's not fate as we often define it. It's an echo from the unconscious, a reflection of the divine working through the unseen. According to Jung, what we do not bring to consciousness appears as fate. But what if that fate is also grace? Stay with me as we explore the mystery behind divinely guided connections and how the soul recognizes what the mind cannot explain. Comment below, what is meant for me will always find me. Carl Jung taught that the psyche is not a random collection of thoughts and emotions, but a dynamic system guided by deeper forces that often reveal themselves through relationships. When someone enters your life and everything begins to shift, Jung would not call it mere coincidence. He would see it as a potential activation of the unconscious, where something in you recognizes something in them. This is not about surface compatibility. It's about soul-level resonance. One of Jung's most powerful ideas is synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that occur without a causal link, but with undeniable personal significance. When God chooses someone for you, the path may not be smooth, but you'll often notice a series of events that feel guided, unexplainable timing, intuitive certainty, emotional depth. These are not accidents. They are signals from the unconscious, calling attention to something important, perhaps even sacred. Jung also spoke about projections, where we unconsciously see parts of ourselves, often our hidden desires or wounds, in others. The person you feel chosen to meet may be mirroring a part of you that's been waiting to be seen. This is why such relationships can feel intense or even overwhelming. They activate your inner work. They demand honesty. They reveal your shadow, the parts you've ignored or denied. But this process isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to lead you toward individuation, Jung's term for becoming whole. When the right person appears, they don't complete you. They mirror what you must complete within yourself. They awaken both your pain and your potential. And if the connection is truly guided by something greater, by the self, the divine center of the psyche, it will return, realign, or remain, regardless of the odds. Before a destined connection enters your life, something begins shifting within you, often quietly, even unconsciously. According to Carl Jung, the psyche is always in motion, constantly seeking balance and wholeness through a process he called individuation. This process draws us toward people and experiences that activate our inner evolution. So when it feels like someone was chosen for you, it's not just about divine intervention. It's about inner readiness. The soul attracts what it is prepared to receive. Jung emphasized that the unconscious is not simply a repository of forgotten memories or repressed instincts. It's also a living intelligence, a symbolic, mysterious language through which the self, or higher organizing principle of the psyche, communicates. Long before we are consciously aware, our inner world begins to prepare us for encounters that will serve our psychological growth. The dreams we have, the longings we carry, the pain we try to avoid, all of it is shaping a field that magnetizes the kind of relationship we need, not necessarily the one we think we want. This is why certain people seem to appear at exactly the right or wrong moment. It's not because the timing is convenient, but because the inner landscape is ripe for disruption, awakening, or integration. The soul, through the unconscious, seeks what it needs for transformation, and that often comes in the form of another person, a mirror, a guide, a challenge. Jung believed that this type of relationship was not accidental, it was archetypal. It carried the symbolic weight of myth, dream, and destiny. When someone enters your life and evokes a feeling that is both familiar and otherworldly, it may be because your unconscious has summoned them. This doesn't mean you had control over their arrival, but that your inner state aligned with theirs in a way that activated a deeper process. Perhaps you had been walking through a period of intense isolation or inner work. Perhaps you were confronting your shadow or healing a past wound. In this vulnerable but potent space, the unconscious is fertile, and what emerges from that soil is often not random. It is transformational. Jung also noted that the psyche is compensatory. That means it often brings into your life what you are lacking internally, not to fill you, but to provoke balance. If you have denied your vulnerability, you may attract someone who awakens tenderness. If you've lived in chaos, you may meet someone who brings structure, or vice versa. These encounters are not always comfortable, but they are meaningful. They are not about possession, they are about reflection. This is why Jungian psychology doesn't view attraction merely through the lens of chemistry or compatibility. It views it through the architecture of the psyche. Two people may be drawn together, not because they align in lifestyle or belief, but because their meeting activates something dormant, something necessary. Sometimes the relationship will endure. Other times, it will burn brightly and fade. But if it served the purpose of awakening something within you, it was never a mistake. It was part of your path. And when the soul is truly ready, when the unconscious is aligned with the self, a different kind of connection can appear. Not one based on projection or longing, but on mutual awareness. This is when it may feel as if God has chosen someone for you. Not because that person completes you, but because they meet you in your wholeness. The unconscious, now more integrated, no longer seeks to find its missing parts in another. It seeks resonance, reflection, sacred partnership. In this sense, divine connection is not something we chase. It's something we become available for. It arises from within before it manifests without. When the soul is aligned with the self, and when the unconscious has done its work, the path clears. And the person who appears does not arrive to rescue you, but to walk beside you. One of Carl Jung's most profound contributions to psychology is the idea that we do not simply see others as they are. We see them through the lens of our unconscious. This becomes especially powerful in intimate relationships, where the person we feel deeply drawn to often reflects something hidden within us. When someone feels chosen for you, almost as if by divine design, it's easy to believe that they are the answer to your longing. But in Jungian terms, they are also the mirror of your inner world, the one who reveals what still needs to be healed, integrated, or accepted. Jung called this process projection. It occurs when we unknowingly assign our own inner contents, our desires, fears, wounds, and fantasies, onto another person. In romantic or spiritually intense connections, projections are amplified. We see not just who the other person is, but who we imagine them to be. And often we imagine them as the perfect balance to our own perceived lack. If we've hidden away our vulnerability, we may be drawn to someone emotionally expressive. If we suppress our creativity, we may idealize someone who lives freely. But this attraction is not necessarily about the other. It's about the part of ourselves they reflect. This is where the concept of the shadow becomes essential. The shadow is everything in us that we reject, deny, or fail to see. It can contain painful memories, repressed desires, or even hidden strengths. When the so-called chosen one enters our life, they don't just bring light, they activate the shadow. Their presence might stir jealousy, insecurity, possessiveness, or longing. It may not make sense to the conscious mind, but the psyche recognizes that this person carries symbolic weight. They are the key to something you've locked away. This is why such relationships can feel overwhelming, even mystical. The emotional intensity, the sense of inevitability, the inability to unsee what's been seen, all of it points to a deeper process at play. It is not merely about love or companionship. It is about integration. The chosen one is not just there to walk with you. They are there to wake you up. They are a mirror reflecting your wholeness and your fragmentation at once. Jung emphasized that true transformation occurs not when we find someone to complete us, but when we use the relationship as a tool for inner work. That means facing the projections, owning the shadow, and asking hard questions. What am I really seeing in this person? What emotions are they activating that I haven't fully acknowledged in myself? Why does this connection feel both healing and disruptive? These are not signs of dysfunction. They are signs that the relationship has archetypal depth. The chosen one doesn't just arrive with comfort. They arrive with fire. They burn away the illusions. They challenge the ego. They demand that you confront the parts of yourself you've kept hidden. And if you are willing to stay conscious during this process, the relationship can become sacred ground for growth. However, Jung also warned that staying in the realm of projection can be dangerous. If you continue to see the other only as a symbol of your own needs, you risk objectifying them. You risk placing the burden of your transformation on someone else's shoulders. That is not love. That is fantasy. The invitation, then, is to withdraw the projection, to see the other person as they truly are, not as your savior, not as your missing piece, but as a fellow traveler who has awakened something in you. In many spiritually significant connections, this process of projection, shadow activation, and reflection is unavoidable. It is part of the terrain, but it doesn't have to lead to destruction. With awareness, it can lead to transformation. The chosen one may not always stay. They may be in your life for a moment, a season, or a lifetime. What matters is what they mirror back to you, and what you choose to do with that reflection. If God or the deeper intelligence of the psyche brings someone into your life, it is never random. It is symbolic. It is purposeful. And in the Jungian view, that purpose is always the same: to bring you closer to the truth of who you are, not through comfort, but through consciousness. In the Jungian view, life is not a linear sequence of random events, but a rich tapestry woven with meaning beneath the surface. One of Carl Jung's most mysterious and profound concepts is synchronicity, a term he coined to describe meaningful coincidences that occur with no apparent causal link, yet feel deeply significant. In the context of relationships, especially those that feel divinely guided, synchronicity becomes a signpost. It suggests that something greater than logic is at work, something aligning beyond what the conscious mind can orchestrate. Have you ever met someone at the exact moment you needed them? When you weren't looking, when you had already surrendered, when it made no sense at all? That moment may have felt random, but according to Jung, it's an expression of the psyche in harmony with the universe. Divine timing is not just about external events lining up. It's about inner and outer realities mirroring one another in symbolic resonance. When you are internally ready, whether through healing, surrender, or crisis, the outer world may respond with an encounter that reflects your inner transformation. This is why love that feels chosen rarely arrives when you're chasing it. It arrives when you're aligned. Divine timing doesn't respond to desperation or control. It responds to readiness, and that readiness is often cultivated through solitude, heartbreak, or deep personal reckoning. It's in those quiet inward seasons that something begins to shift in the unconscious, opening space for a new kind of connection to emerge. When it does, the synchronicities begin. A sudden meeting, a shared dream, a repeating symbol, a message that arrives when your heart was silently asking. These aren't coincidences, they are responses. Jung believed that synchronicities are bridges between the conscious and unconscious mind, often revealing hidden truths or initiating transformation. When God or the self orchestrates a meeting, it may come with signs, subtle but undeniable. You might feel as though time stands still when you speak with the person, or everything around you seems to pause, giving space to this one connection. There might be uncanny overlaps in your lives, deep resonance in your inner worlds, or inexplicable peace in their presence. These signs don't need to be proven. They are felt, and their purpose is not to validate fantasy, but to illuminate soul truth. Yet it's important to recognize that divine timing does not mean ease or absence of challenge. Sometimes the most destined connections come with delays, distance, or initial separation. This is not punishment, it's preparation. The soul may need time to mature, to integrate lessons, or to let go of attachments before it can fully receive what's meant for it. And during this time, synchronicities may continue, not to tease you, but to affirm the connection is real, the timing is sacred, and the unfolding is intentional. In a world driven by immediacy, the idea of waiting can feel unbearable. But in Jungian terms, what is meant for you will not bypass you. It will meet you in the exact psychological and spiritual state you need to be in. Divine timing honors the totality of your journey, not just your desire. It is not controlled by the ego, but by the deeper intelligence of the self. And sometimes delays are the self's way of ensuring you do not sabotage what is sacred by meeting it prematurely. When synchronicity becomes the language of your relationship, you begin to trust something beyond logic. You stop forcing, manipulating, or chasing. You learn to listen to your dreams, to your emotions, to the subtle symbols in your life. This is not magical thinking. It is the cultivation of awareness. And in that awareness, the psyche becomes fertile ground for soul-aligned partnership. So when someone enters your life and everything starts to align, not just externally but internally, you are not imagining it. You are witnessing the psyche in motion, the soul in response and the divine in action. And even if the road is long, even if the connection faces trials, those early moments of synchronicity are sacred markers. They tell you something deeper is happening. Trust it. Because when God chooses someone for you, He also chooses the time. And that time, though rarely convenient, is always right. Carl Jung defined individuation as the lifelong journey of becoming who we truly are, a movement towards psychological wholeness, where all aspects of the self are integrated, the conscious and unconscious, the light and shadow, the masculine and feminine. It is not a process of perfection, but of authenticity, where the ego relinquishes control and aligns with the deeper self. While individuation is often seen as a solitary inner journey, Jung also acknowledged that it is through relationships, especially intimate ones, that the process is most powerfully activated. When someone enters your life and evokes a sense of divine timing or deep recognition, that connection may not simply be about love. It may be the spark that ignites a new stage of individuation. The person feels chosen not because they are perfect, but because their presence awakens parts of you that had been buried, denied, or forgotten. In this way, they are not just a partner or companion. They are a mirror, a catalyst, and sometimes a spiritual initiator. Relationships of this kind challenge the ego. They pull you out of comfort and force you to confront your inner landscape. The chosen one may inspire your highest potential, but they may also trigger your deepest wounds. This is not a flaw in the connection. It's a feature. Jung believed that the self uses outer relationships to bring unconscious content into consciousness. That means the things you admire in the other may reflect your undeveloped strengths, while the things that provoke you may reveal your unresolved pain. True individuation requires this confrontation. It requires you to move beyond projection, fantasy, and idealization, and into the raw, often uncomfortable truth of who you are and what you carry. A divinely orchestrated relationship often acts as a sacred container for this work. It gives you the space to explore your own soul, not in isolation but in reflection, and that reflection can be transformative. Jung also taught that within each person exists both anima, the feminine aspect in men, and animus, the masculine aspect in women. These inner archetypes influence the way we experience relationships. When you fall in love with someone who feels like they were meant for you, it may be because they mirror your inner anima or animus, awakening qualities you have not yet integrated. The experience can feel mystical, intense, and disorienting, but it is ultimately an invitation to grow beyond polarity and into inner union. As you begin to integrate the feminine and masculine within, the relationship itself may shift. What began as projection transforms into presence. What was once obsession becomes respect. The more you individuate, the more you are able to love the other not for what they give you, but for who they are. This is the mark of a mature, soul-based connection. It's no longer about completion, it's about communion. However, this process is rarely linear or easy. A relationship that is meant to serve your individuation may go through separations, trials, and transformations. You may need distance in order to see clearly. You may need loss in order to confront attachment. And sometimes, the connection that felt divinely chosen may not last in its original form. But in the Jungian sense, the external duration of the relationship is less important than its internal impact. If it awakened your true self, if it accelerated your growth, if it brought you closer to the self, it fulfilled its purpose. Individuation through connection is paradoxical. It asks you to come closer to another in order to become more fully yourself. It asks you to face your dependencies, your fears, your unmet needs, not to be fixed by the other, but to be claimed by you. And when two people are both committed to their own individuation, the relationship becomes a living field of transformation. It breathes, it evolves, it supports freedom, not control, intimacy, not enmeshment, conscious love, not unconscious need. So when someone enters your life and it feels like they were sent by God, consider this. Maybe they were sent not to complete your story, but to reveal the next chapter of your own becoming. Maybe they were sent not to give you peace, but to awaken the parts of you that still long for healing. And maybe their presence is not the end of your journey, but the portal to a deeper one, the path of becoming whole. In this way, love becomes more than emotion. It becomes initiation. And the person you were meant to meet becomes not a possession, but a presence that forever altered the shape of your soul. Some connections cannot be explained. They can only be experienced. And when such a connection enters your life, it doesn't come to complete you. It comes to reveal you. Through Jung's lens, we've seen how the unconscious prepares us for what we are meant to encounter, how projection and shadow shape our experience of love, and how synchronicity marks the rhythm of divine timing. But above all, we've explored how deep, meaningful relationships are not accidents. They are invitations, not into fantasy, but into growth, into wholeness. When God chooses someone for you, it's not just about romance or comfort, it's about awakening, it's about becoming. The presence of that person in your life may not follow logic or expectation, but it will speak directly to your soul. And in that sacred mirror, you are given a chance, not only to know the other, but to finally see yourself. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below sharing what this topic awakened in you. And don't forget to watch the next video now appearing on your screen. It was chosen to deepen your journey even further. Because real transformation begins the moment we dare to look inward and choose to grow.